Hey guys, so today we're going to be doing a Fenty Beauty review. Gonna work these products on my face. Today we're doing a Fenty Beauty review and I'm super excited to do this video. This is my first ever first impressions video and we are testing out Fenty Beauty, the infamous Fenty Beauty. So a long time ago I tried to get the foundation, couldn't get into my shade, but they released new shades, they released concealers, they released powders, they released new lip glosses, they released a whole bunch of stuff. So I literally ran to Sephora. I got a foundation, concealer, powder, lip gloss, the primer. I got a couple things to review for you guys. This is the completed look. As you can see by the way I'm dancing, I am very impressed by these things. So stay tuned and see my first impressions with putting this makeup on, how I applied it, how I got it to look like this, and how I really feel about Fenty Beauty. So I hope you guys like this video. Thank you so much for watching and let's see if Fenty Beauty lives up to the hype. Okay, so since this is a matte foundation, I'm not a huge fan of matte foundations even though I have oily skin, because I just feel like when it goes on, I don't know, I don't like the way it looks. I use these three products on my skin beforehand just to make sure my skin is really moisturized and that the foundation doesn't sit weird on my face. So this is the Believe True Cream, Pearlescence Coconut Oil, and the Green NVHA Collagen Serum. I just mixed these two together and put it on my face, which is why I look super dewy and oily, because I just know, I know how matte foundations are. Even though this is a soft matte, I know how they sit on my skin, and I don't know, I'm kind of iffy about this foundation. So I am going to use the primer. I would say that if I'm doing a soft matte or a matte foundation, I usually use a more moisturizing primer just because, like I said, I already know how it sits on my skin. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to try out all the products. We're going to use the soft matte primer. Oh, it's actually really moisturizing. This is the matte primer, right? Soft matte. That is odd. I definitely thought that it was going to be a different consistency. I kind of thought it was going to be like the NYX Angel Veil primer or like the Professional primer, like that type of consistency. I was not expecting that, but I'm very glad that the primer is like this, because like I said, I just feel a primer like this would be better for a matte foundation. Like it would, like the foundation would just cling onto the skin better. Okay, so for the foundation I'm using the shade 310, and in store, the little description underneath, it said that this was for tan skin tones with golden and warm undertones, but I'm looking at it online and it says for medium to tan skin tones with warm yellow undertones. So that kind of scares me, because foundations that are too yellow just look very weird on my skin. I find that the best foundations for me are golden undertone foundations. Let's see, don't kill me if this doesn't match me perfectly. But this was the best match, which is like really crazy to me because, you know, there's 50 shades and as you can see it's still a little hard to find a shade that matches you. So I'm gonna do two pumps, and I'm gonna use my sponge, my beauty blender, to apply it because it's a matte foundation and I don't know, I'm trying to keep it as luminous as possible. Ooh, it feels matte on my hand. Okay. I'm applying a little bit more because I have a dark spot right here and I want that covered, and I just want a little bit more coverage. This looks better like a better match in this lighting than it did in the store. Let me tell you something. In the store, I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? None of these match. I thought it was going crazy. Let's see if it's gonna cover my pimple. It covered it, but this is not a super full coverage foundation. But I really didn't expect it to be a super full coverage foundation because that's not very Rihanna like. Like Rihanna just has flawless skin. Her makeup is always really light and natural. So I did not expect this foundation to have full coverage at all, and I don't really think it does. I think it has medium coverage because even still, I can still see the dark spot that was right here and the pimple still shows. So yeah. Something that I'm noticing while blending and applying layers with this foundation, it definitely does oxidize, right? So what I find is, do not spray this like directly onto your sponge or directly onto your brush and apply it onto your skin, because it goes on lighter and then as you're blending it kind of starts getting darker. So I find when you pump it into the back of your hand, you rub it with your finger and then you rub it on your face and then you blend in, it goes on much more even, if that makes any sense at all. It's kind of like you'll put this side on, you'll start blending, and then when you move on to this side and you apply it, you see it's way lighter. Then if you want a little bit more coverage here and you start blending in, you know, it's like super light in that section. It does that. Right now, this looks really nice. Okay, it's looking like skin, which I like my foundation to look like skin. Definitely medium coverage, definitely buildable, very comfortable on the skin. It's matte, but like I said, since I moisturized and I think the primer helped as well, it's not clinging to my pimple, it's not clinging to my mustache hairs or any of my facial hairs, which matte foundations do to me. So far I'm liking it. Like I said, the foundation shade isn't a perfect match, but it definitely works. Go Riri, go Riri, go Riri. So I'm gonna use the 310 concealer, and I'm really scared to use this because I feel like looking at it and swatching it, it looks very yellow and very bright, and I am not a super bright under eye girl. I just know, I know, and I don't want to judge this concealer based off of that. I just know that under my eyes is going to look very gray. So, I'm sorry, but I'm going to use a little bit of Too Faced. And I'm going to use such a small amount, I swear. It's not going to affect my opinion on this concealer. But this darkness right here, if I don't correct it first, it's going to peek through the concealer and it's going to look gray. And I don't want to hate the concealer because of that. I'm also just covering some pimples. This is Too Faced Concealer in Sand, but this isn't important. Don't focus on that, okay? So now we're going to use the Fenty Beauty Concealer. This is called the Instant Retouch Concealer. And I'm just going to apply this how I would apply any of my other concealers. That is bright. Oh, it's definitely isn't how bright I usually wear my entire under eye. Like, I like to bring it down. So what I'm going to have to do is use the back of the sponge to kind of blend this in. I'll tell you one thing, you know, this whole brand, the foundation, the concealer, the powder, all claim to be, you know, kind of like a filtered effect, and I definitely see that. I feel like it's sitting over my pores very nicely and kind of over my creases very nicely. I'm going to set now, and I'm going to be using the Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'R Instant Retouch Setting Powder in Banana. And the packaging is so beautiful. And inside the box at the top, there is this little plastic thing. And I think like this is so smart and creative, because with any of my other loose powders, it always gets all over the place. You know, you open a cap and it like explodes everywhere, but this is kind of like a stopper. You stick it in there and it stops the powder from coming up. So you could flip the powder over, tap it over, whatever, and you're not gonna lose any makeup. And I love that idea. I'm gonna use a sponge, clean sponge. This powder is, hold on, this is bright, okay? I'm setting my makeup and the powder is like I feel my skin kind of sucking up. Like this is really setting my under eyes, okay? I'm very scared that it's not going to dust off my face, and that has happened to me before. I love the way this powder smells. I can't stop smelling it. Okay, so right now I'm loving the powder. It's setting my skin very nicely. It's clinging on, it's laying on, it looks very smooth. It set my concealer nicely. I love the yellow color. But I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna do the rest of my makeup like I usually would do my makeup. I leave the powder here, I do my eyes, and then I'll come back. And we're gonna see if it's gonna dust off. If this powder dusts off, this might be my new favorite powder ever, because right now I'm obsessed. Okay, so I'm gonna dust the powder off now. I always use this Mint Pear Rounded Soft Blend M64 brush, so I'm gonna use that to dust off the powder. I have a lot of fallout, like I said, from that shadow, so I'm going to dust kind of like that top layer off first that has all that fallout on it. Okay, and now with the rest of the powder, I'm going to buff it into the skin like I normally do. I just do like circular motions and buff the powder in. It dusts off very nicely, so it doesn't settle into the skin or like stick on the skin, thank God, because that's what I was the most scared about. But it's blending beautiful. This is really nice. Using Anastasia Saddle Bronzer. For blush, I'm gonna use MAC Peaches blush. For highlighter, I'm using Champagne Pop from Becca. I'm gonna use the Fenty Glow Lip Gloss. Ooh, it smells good. Riri's good with the scents, I'll tell you that much. So it's not too sticky, which I like. Very shiny, has nice gloss. It has small flecks of glitter, but nothing you can see on the lip. I think it just nicely helps like reflect the light. At my face really fast with some Morphe setting spray, because I feel like you can't really see your makeup until you set it, right? Get all those powders melted into the skin. Okay, you guys, this is the finished look using the Fenty Beauty products. And looking at my skin right now, it's been set. The rest of the makeup is done. I love it. I absolutely love it. It is just looking flawless on my skin. I love the way this looks. I was supposed to go on a date tonight and I was gonna do like a wear test, but plans got canceled. So I'm sorry I can't do a wear test on this look, but I love it. It looks beautiful. I'm very shocked right now that all 5 products I like that I bought. You know, this is great. This has never happened to me ever. I always shop at Sephora and have to return something, but I love everything here so much. I love the lashes too. They're not by Rihanna, but House of Lashes Sweet Pea lashes. I'm loving it. The glue, I'm loving my makeup right now. So I highly recommend these Fenty Beauty products, and I hope that you guys go out and buy it too. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys liked this video, and I will see you on the next one.